Have you ever felt, at least in your career, like you're sprinting? You are going, 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 but somehow you look around and you're standing still, and that could be same salary, same title, same coworkers, same day, different. If that is something that you feel deeply, and especially at this time of year where everyone is recapping their year before and all their highlights and the wins and talking about their future, it could feel like, hey, am I behind? And it's a weird feeling because you might feel like you're behind, but you also know that you've done all the things, right? And so it feels like, where am I going wrong? Because we've all been sold a story, and that story told us that if we worked hard, if we networked, if we played smart, if we stayed visible, if we built our personal brand, if we stayed agile, if we adopted to AI, if we led from behind, we managed up, we played the game, if we did all this stuff, would if we leaned in, we would eventually get to this magical place called success. And that success would look like maybe flexibility, look like a really great paycheck. It would look like a title and all this praise and affirmation. And no matter how much we keep climbing, we're not getting there. Actually, different rungs keep getting pulled out from us. So for 2026, I want us to talk about the ladder that doesn't go anywhere and what to do about it, so you feel like there's progress and you're not chasing this thing and constantly tied, constantly in a crisis, constantly comparing yourself. And I want to bring it back to our ancestors. Our ancestors saw time differently. They understood the world in circles. It was around seasons returning, it was around generations echoing, it was around time folding back on itself. It wasn't this linear path. And in this current culture that we live in, everything is linear. Somewhere along the way, we decided that it was primitive to be in this cyclical cycle, even though literally everything else around us is cyclical. We decided that no, for us humans, for us sapiens, we would not do this. So we built lines. We did linear careers, linear promotions, linear success metrics. Uh, and since we were what, like 5 years old, we've been asked, what do we want to be when we grow up? And then the minute you answered what you wanted to be when you grew up, then it became a straight line from that moment forward. So if you wanted to be a doctor, then all of a sudden people would start buying you lab coats for Halloween or little science kits and all this stuff. And it was meant to be encouraging, but what it did very early on is started tying your identity to your job title. And it started telling you that in order to get there, in order to have this identity, in order to have this job title, you must go down this path. And then we put our heads down and then we started going down that path. So what happens when that line becomes our identity from such a young age? We start treating life like a racetrack. The faster we are at studying, at getting the curriculum, at doing whatever, the better we are. The higher we go, the better we are. The more we have, the safer we are, especially with the way our education system is and whatnot. But here's the plot twist that I kind of want to explore today. It's we are realizing, and we've been realizing for quite some time, that this system is glitching, especially if you've been in the job market from 2020 and onwards. You know that um, between layoffs, between overhiring, between AI, between tech, we're being forced to finally really reconsider this linear track that we were sold, right? Because the truth is, the ladder we were told to climb has not been a ladder for a long time, and I don't know if anyone actually really seriously benefited from the ladder, right, in this current economy that we're in. Because what we're in, I will say, in the last at least 5 years, is a stairmaster. We're moving our legs, we're burning all these calories, we're putting in work, we're sweating, but yet the dashboard says we're crushing it, but we look up. I don't know about you, but I actually cover the dashboard when I'm on the Stairmaster, because you look at the dashboard and it says you're doing all this stuff, but then you're still in place. And then no matter how long you've been on the Stairmaster, it tells you there's still a ton of time left. There's more time on the Stairmaster than when you started. And you're like, how? I've been on this thing forever and I've been putting in all my might. So you put in all the work, you're still in the same place, and you're still told that you have all this left to go. So, and essentially, in a careers mindset, you're in golden handcuffs. You as you get higher and higher and higher, maybe your salary increases, but also like there's more eyes on you. And you can't really do much because if you're on a ladder, you have about three options. Either you're staying put, which means that you're waiting for your role to get augmented out of existence, pretty much if you're staying put. If you're going up, like I mentioned earlier, if you go up, that means more golden handcuffs. That means like pretty much algorithmic micromanagement in a lot of ways. And then if you go down, that's a trapdoor that no one warns you about because going down can be good for you and that could be a choice. But mostly what happens when we go down is that we usually get laid off. And it happens so quickly. It's one meeting, one budget cut, one AI tool, and that's just it. The Stairmaster stops working and we just fall off. So this tells us that the game is rigged, and the path we're told to trust has been eroding and being dismantled under our feet. And we're left sprinting on a machine that only benefits people who are manipulating the dashboard, right? And who have a very clear idea of where they're going, and they have a web. So I want to tell you about someone who played the game like better than almost anyone. I just finished reading this book. I wish I had the physical book. I read it on audiobook. It's called Careless People by Sarah Wynne Williams. And she was one of the first workers at Facebook, now Meta. And she was doing global policy. So she was helping really shape how communications impacted a lot of the riots that we've seen, a lot of the uprisings and the way people communicate internationally. She was helping with that. And she was one of the first people. So she has had a lot of influence in this. However, after 6 years of working there, she started to start dissent from, hey, this is not the path that I think we should be going down, and maybe we should, do other things. Now, I don't want to fully absolve her of anything because she did spend 6 years there, but ultimately, after all this hard work she put in, when she had her first baby, she literally was replying emails. She had all this sickness, and I'm of the belief that when you're really, really stressed, your body reacts by just fighting back, right? So she talks about a lot of the medical issues that she was going through. She gave her all. She sacrificed so much, her medical leave, her time with her family, time with her husband. And once she stopped going down the hole that they wanted her to go to, she was fired in a day. And no one batted an eye. It was just business. And you might be thinking, okay, this is why I want to be my own boss. This is why I want to do my own thing. I don't even want to be in corporate anymore. So let's talk about that as well, because another book that I read is called Little Bosses Everywhere, and it's about how America was built on the MLM system. So we have been sold this idea that all of us should be our little bosses, all of us should be contractors. And what that ends up doing is that it's pretty much it's a pyramid scheme. Because it's made all of us like fractal workers, meaning that the companies no longer need to pay us full real wages and they no longer have to pay for health insurance. And we are the ones that are now becoming our little bosses, meaning that we're managing our own micro outputs. We're curating ourselves for the algorithm so we are visible. We're obsessing over productivity dashboards, and we're just trying to make sure that we are always going to be good. So it's kind of an illusion of autonomy because we are still kind of playing this bigger game. Now, this is not to say that you should not be an entrepreneur, you should not pursue your own thing, but I also want us to just think through, what does it mean to work for a company that lays you off? And what does it also mean to be your own boss in a way that you're a contract worker who doesn't have any benefits, right? So how do you then learn to play the game so you're not burnt out? So the system doesn't continuously fail you. You feel failed by the system because you have one single point of failure. And you have one single point of failure when you're on a ladder and it just gets snatched away from you. So what's the alternative? You stop climbing and you start weaving. You build a career that doesn't depend on a single structure, a single company, or a single boss. And I dive into this idea a bit more in my latest Substack, and it's called the Web Audit. And in it, I break down the 4 types of threads you need to weave your own safety net in 2026. And I'm not going to spoil it all here. The link will be in the description for you to click on and read through it. But essentially, a web is is sticky. It has so many different parts to it. So if one place falters, there's another place that'll catch you. So if your job lays you off today, you have something else that you've been building. You've been building your skill set, and you've been building your networks. You've been building other things so you can quickly, whether that's find another job because of your network or your skill set, whether that's continue building your own thing. It's a matter of architecture, really. So if you lose one thread, you're still good. You're still attracting food, for lack of a better word. And that's advantage the spider has over the climber. So if you're feeling stuck this year, if you're coming into this year feeling like, hey, what do I do? If your resume looks more like a random jungle gym than a straight path, that is actually really, really good. We're told to, double down, sink in, and and so many of us are multi-passionate, and this is where that's going to shine because especially if you're a millennial or mid in your career, you probably spend a lot of time really honing in on something specific, and then you've also been able to be generalized. So now you have those two skill sets, and that is how you succeed in this current economy. In the essay on my Substack, I walk you through an anchor audit. It's a quick way to figure out what skills and capabilities and boundaries you actually own and not rely fully on titles are given to you by someone else. So it's not what your manager is putting on you. It's what you are also assessing and looking at the market and seeing this is what the market is asking for and this is what I have. So as I mentioned, I'll drop the link below, so please click on it to get the full article. But before you go, tell me, like in the comments, what's one piece of advice that you've learned and you've leaned on that has helped you navigate this job market? Because I really want us all to build something better together. And I do post daily on here, so please subscribe for more if you're looking for career literacy and how to navigate this current job market.